E tau nei, ki runga ki a tātou katoa, te wairua o ngā mātua tipuna, nā rātou I whakatakoto te ara, hei hīkoinga mā tātou ngā uri. Ke wakatōkia o tātou ngākau ki ngā tikanga, hei ara takinga I a tātou. Kia ngākau nui ki te hāpai I o tātou mai katoa, I roto I te pono, I te tika, I te māramatanga, me te aroa anō o tētei ki tētei, e rongo o kairi ake ki runga, tūturu whakamaua ki a tīna,
Tīna.
haumie, huie,
Tākie.
E mei ana ki te rungarawa, ki ngā mate, ki te whare e tūnei, ki te marae wao. O tira kia koutou e matakitaki mai ana ki tēnei o ngā hōtaka me ki Whakarongo Kōrero. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Kia ora hui hui mai tātou, katoa. Kia ora Kazi.
Kia ora, Kazi.
So we are here to talk about our reo Māori journeys, to share with te hunga whakarongo, te hunga titiro, and hopefully they can relate to some of our experiences. And I'm really excited. So, tuatai hake, let's get started. We know whakahuatia ko e, koe nohea koe, Jace?
Ko Jason Roru Phillips, tōku ingoa. He uri au o Ngati Mako, Ngati Irakehu hoki. Ngati Maika ko Ngāroru Kitahi, me Ngaitahu, iwi kia ora.
Kia ora.
Hi everyone! Ko ai paunamu, te karu tōku ingoa, he uri ahau no Ngaitahu, Ngāti Kahungunu ki Wairarapa, Muaupoko, me Tūhoe. That's me.
Cool.
Kia ora rā. Ko tūmehe Māori ora tu au haue a rongonui tōku ingoa, a bit of a mouthful. He uri tēnei, no ngā ruahinerangi me Ngāti Porau, taranaki te mau, ngā Aotearoa waka, waigongora te awa, parihaka me oio, ngā marae, nō reira, kia ora tātou.
Cool.
So, this is exciting. We get to talk about our own personal experiences to do with our reo. So, first question I thought was, what are our earliest experiences with the reo?
Yeah. For me, it was when I went and stayed with my koko in my tawa in Taranaki. And when I stayed overnight when I was a baby and started to cry for my mama, my koko used to sing that song. It's like, moi moi,
Pepe kaua e tangi, ka hoki mai a mama, a popo, yeah.
And then he always used to say at the end, with a lolly in her pocket. And it brings tears to my eyes actually, because they're sweet memories of him. So that's me.
Yeah.
That's
My earliest memory was kohanga reo. My mum was working in the kitchen at te kohanga reo te kotahitanga, which is in Aranui, and it's still there to this day. My son actually ended up going there too. And I just remember, my mum working in the kitchen. I was too old to go to kohanga then, but I was still there because my sisters were there. And I remember my mum singing the waiata too, to me as well, as a little kid.
That's so sweet. And you forget about it.
Piko, 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 toro, piko. So yeah, that was mine. What was your earliest, Kazi?
It's funny, because I remember actually singing that to my youngest, our youngest, ko te mātaimua, 6 tamariki, and hine paunamu, ko ia te Whakarongo or, here at Tatu FM, and miti atu ki a Tatu FM, of course. But I remember singing that waiata to her, and it also brings memories back for me.
Yes, it does.
For her as a little baby, and I love that waiata too. But personally, I think it was growing up at Parihaka. I was brought up by my koro Timiringa Hohaya and my kui Katarina Hohaya for the first sort of 4 years of my life at Parihaka. So that was my first introduction, you could say, to the reo, was just sitting, in the wharenui, listening to the kōrero, and back then I didn't think much of it until all these years later, looking back and realising how special it was to have kua mate ia I naene, but to have someone that really passionately loved the reo and fought for the reo, fought for our people. I feel honoured to be able to say I had that influence from a very young age. So those are my first sort of experiences. And it definitely has shaped my, like we're going to talk soon about the work that we, took on, our mahi it really shaped the future, you could say. So that was my sort of first influence. On to mahi. We're here at Tahu FM, you know, it's all about the reo. It is all about the journey of the reo, whakapapa, tikanga. So, Jace, what are your sort of experiences with mahi, and how has your reo, you know, shaped where you've been?
I'll talk about it a little bit later on too, but I didn't really have a grasp of te reo before I came to Tahu.
Yeah.
But working here for the last 8 years, I found like you need to have an understanding of it for yourself personally, and I find absolute value in learning te reo Māori. And for me, I remember you and I, cousin, we went to that reo wānanga with other iwi stations, right? Yeah. And Korero, who's passed now, for one of the stations, he said to me, "Are you learning?" And I was at Te Wānanga, and he says, "Don't learn for work. You need to have a love for it in yourself."
Yeah.
And so for me, learning later on in life, reo for me is a part of my identity.
Kia ora.
And like, I can't remember the exact moment, but I was like, wow, I love this, you know? And like, it comes hand in hand, you get a bit whakama if you're at a certain hui. But I've worked on developing my cultural confidence and working here at Tahu with Sister, Cherie, Piki, Kihere. They've all added to my journey, and I'm just so proud that I could do that, experience that.
And your reo has come a long way. Your beautiful pronunciation now.
Funny story, I really had nothing, right? And so for me, don't ever do this if you're learning. It was spring. And so I was like, ha te kupu Māori. The first one in Māori dictionary, paringi. It's like, boing. I'll never forget. No one corrected me either. It's kohanga. Yeah, so that's me.
No, but I just want to say personally too, cousin, how proud I am of you, because I've watched you on your reo journey. Yeah. You literally started here at Tahu FM because I was going on maternity leave. Yes. So I've seen your whole reo journey, and I love that you've kept at it, and you've definitely learnt a lot along the way, and I can see the confidence in you as well built over the years too.
Oh, thanks.
Because I remember how I encouraged you to go to your first ever wānanga.
Yes, I want to bring that story up a little bit later on.
Okay, go.
Yes. Yes. It's important to have support from other real speakers. Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask, I think. What about you, cousin?
What was the question again?
So, how has your mahi influenced your real journey?
Okay, so
there's a good story.
The first job I ever had was babysitting my Māori teacher's tamariki from high school.
Cool.
And then her tamariki went to St. Albans School. So then she got me a job in the Oscar program, holiday program at St. Albans.
Yeah.
Then following that, I was a teacher aide at a bilingual unit, working in the tourism industry, performing kapahaka. Got the job here as a DJ at Tahu FM. And every job I've had is because of my reo Māori. I've only had jobs because, not because I had a degree or I had a diploma or I had the experience, I just had my reo, and that got me in the door, that got me all these jobs. And I remember studying te reo Māori in high school, and one of my friend's parents would ask me, she asked me, why are you studying that for? That's not going to get you anywhere. What kind of job are you going to get learning Māori? And you know, that was the kind of mentality that generation had when I was growing up. Te reo Māori wasn't really encouraged as I was growing up. Even my own taua was like, what are you doing in the whānau class? You're not going to learn anything there. And so I'd always tell them, well, I'm going to become a teacher and teach te reo Māori. So that's my job. And because of my, like I said, I've had amazing jobs too because of my reo Māori, and to be a teenager and hear kōrero from an adult telling me, you know, you're not going to get a job learning te reo Māori, it didn't discourage me at all. If anything, it pushed me to prove them that, yeah, I am going to get a job, and not just one type of job, but I can get any job now with my te reo Māori, and I've only worked for Māori people too, which I really love. I don't think I'd be able to work for a non-Māori organisation or company. That's just, because like you said, cousin, my reo is me, it's my identity.
Yes. You need to get an understanding of that, and it sounds like you had it early on.
Absolutely, installed by my power.
Yeah,
I
love it.
Well, my kōku mātua, they were second language learners, because obviously there was a lost generation whereby, they were whipped my koro. It could have discouraged, obviously, to speak the reo. So my parents didn't actually grow up with the reo. Engari, I tipu ake mātou ngā tamariki I roto i te reo, because they imposed, my father actually imposed it on us. And at times, I thought it was a bit tyrannical. I didn't like it, back when I was a child, because all I wanted to do was, haere ki te, tākaro ki te taho aku hoa, go and play and do kid things. But we were quite often, he would give us the books, te kākano and all those type of books, and make us read together as a whānau and do karakia and go to hāhi katorika, and it was, now looking back, all those experiences are invaluable, as you say. Man, I would not have been on television. I had a good career for 16 odd years since being a teenager because of my reo, and I'm so thankful now to my papa, and I tell him, I really do, I tell him when we get together, I say, ngama iki a koe, I'm your mokai now, and I realise why I'm your mokai is because I actually am, I am a direct outcome. My life is a direct outcome due to your hard mahi, because they had to learn from scratch, bro. They didn't have what we have. So they went off into teachers college, and 6 kids, 8 of us, 1 whare, 2-bedroom home, struggling to make ends meet, but still was able to take us to all those wānanga, the looking after the marae. We were there every weekend, whatever wānanga or marae it was, we were there. I mean, to be able to look after your whānau, and not only that, go kohi kaimoana as well. So we actually lived off the land, and papatu anuku, tangaroa. So he was a real bright light for my reo journey, along with the tōku whaia, obviously. But as you say, my career was definitely directed by my reo.
Absolutely.
And it was not just the reo, it was the leadership that came with the reo.
Kia ora.
Because at my kura, it was high school. So I went to koanga reo, kura kaupapa, all of that. But at high school, it was an eye-opener because there were very little Māori. So tōku papa and mama, they were both teachers there. So obviously I had to be the...
Was it a mainstream high school?
Yeah, mainstream high school.
Yeah, me too. I went to mainstream as well.
Yeah, exactly. So
did you have to do like English support classes too once you got to high school?
My English,
I did.
My maths was
My
terrible.
English was terrible, eh?
Yeah. But, you get pushed into those leadership roles in the Māori world, let's say.
Yes.
Which was a good thing.
Yes, yeah. Right? Absolutely. Well, in my whānau, I got pushed into the leadership role because I'm the only fluent speaker in my whānau. While I was going to kura kaupapa, my sisters, my first cousins, who are like my brothers and sisters because we were all raised in the homestead together with my tau and paua, they all went to mainstream. I was the only one going to kura kaupapa, so our schooling was completely different. But it was only because of my paua taking me out of my first school, which was a Catholic school, putting me into kura kaupapa, that connected me to my whole te ao Māori, and then from then I was being pushed into these leadership roles by my whānau, like when it came to tangihanga or going to the marae. I was the one who got up, started the karakia, did the waiata, spoke on behalf of the whānau, helped run my taua's tangi tikanga side because my whānau didn't know any of it. And it was never an issue for me either. Like, I was honoured and privileged and grateful to my paua as well for raising me in te ao Māori, for me to be able to do this now for my whānau. So I can totally relate to you, Kazi.
And back then it was like, going to hi ika ramatuna, kohi kaimoana, all these things I didn't like as a kid. You know, because I just want to hang with my friends and go surfing and check out the girls. You know what I mean? But now I'm, so thankful.
Yeah.
So, Jace, what was a pivotal moment for you with your
there's not one moment, but I think enrolling in Te Wānanga o Aotearoa.
Yeah.
And I think it was your cousin that encouraged me to do full immersion.
Yeah.
it might have been Lynn Te Aka as well. I was telling someone, and they said, you want to go at a level just above your head because you're going to push yourself to learn more, right?
Yes.
And that was hard work. And I'll never forget, it was one noho a month at Te Kura Whakapumo. And I remember my friend Jade, she had Kākono Cafe.
Yeah.
And so she took her stall down to the Hokitika Wild Foods Fest, which I'd never been to, and she invited me, come and work with me. I was like, okay. And Waiponamu Te Karu, Kazi, said, you are not going. You're going to your wānanga, your noho. You need to do it. So reluctantly,
It was his very first one.
I did.
Wow.
And then this one here went to the Foods Festival. And took a photo of my friend going like that.
Hey cousin, hope you're enjoying your wānanga. Look who I'm with.
But I didn't give up, and I passed it, and I felt so proud of myself. But then there was there was like some sort of music gig at another noho, and you're like, come, don't worry about it, just come. And I was like, no, I'm gonna stick it out. Because of that, it gave me confidence, and I need to shout out to to Kihere, sister's wife, who helped me. The first thing I ever did, the first structure I ever learned was how to whakamaori the weather.
Oh yeah.
And so she's taught me like really simple structures.
Cool.
And from that, I built my confidence, and then I saw how sentences were structured. And so I think that for me, and that was it's been 8 years in the making. So that's me.
Yeah, I remember that when you were telling me that you were thinking about not going to that wānanga, but I just didn't want you to miss out because it was your first one, and because I've been on so many wānanga, I know what to expect. So I know that the very first wānanga is so important because everyone's new.
Yes.
It's right at the start. That's when you start to build relationships, start to learn about everybody. So if you had missed that one and gone to the second one, everyone would have had a connection already and already known each other, and you would have felt even more out of place.
100% correct. Absolutely.
So I'm so glad that you went. And the World Foods Fest was amazing. We'll go next year.
Yeah, let's do it. I want to eat some hoo-hoo grubs.
They are so good.
What about you? Pivotal moment?
Pivotal moment in my life was when my paua passed away. When I was 8 years old, because as I said before, my paua was the reason why I started learning te reo. Took me out of Catholic school, put me into Te Kura Whakapumo, te reo.
So he was fluent?
He was fluent,
And he used to speak to you?
Yes. So my paua and I, were the only ones in the whānau that could speak together, because my taua grew up Catholic, but he grew up Māori and went to Te Aotea College as well.
Wow.
And so when he passed away, of course, my whole world was over, because I was raised by my taua and paua, my grandparents, his closest thing to a father figure to me. And so at the age of 8, this is what I'm thinking, right? In order to stay connected to my paua, I need to stay connected to my reo, because he was the one that opened that door for me. And because of my love and devotion for my paua, I've stayed committed to the reo because of him. So, because I just felt like I had lost everything, I had nothing, but without my reo, I have nothing, because I am now my reo and my te ao Māori, and he opened that door for me. And it was funny too, coming home from school and speaking reo and singing the songs, and all my cousins who couldn't understand me and my sisters, they'd laugh at me because, they're hearing this language that they'd never heard before. And they thought it was hilarious hearing me speak this other language and stuff. But they've, again, had a whole different schooling life experience to me compared to when you're living in te ao Māori. So it's a sad thing that my paua passed away, but because of that, my love for the reo and for te ao Māori has just grown even more, and I wouldn't be as confident with my reo if it wasn't for my paua.
It's a beautiful story. It's whakapapa too, right? You
Yes.
And
That was so important to him too, whakapapa,
And like you say, it's not just about the language in and of itself. I mean, these are just words.
Yes.
It is about the connection to your whakapapa, to your whānau. And I've got a similar story when I got married for the first time. But at my wedding, my koro got up and he kohete mai ia. he gave me a grilling because during my speech, I didn't basically use the reo or the tikanga, right, which was, you know the tikanga, i te runga rawa, te parai, wa o te pare etu, nei ngā mate, I didn't do any of that, and he grilled me. So, as you have that connection to your koro, I have the same connection with my koro. Kua mate ia I nāne, and that makes it even more meaningful.
Yes.
You know, it really has driven me to, at every chance I get, even on this korero here, you know, I know exactly what to do.
Yes.
You know, because of that grilling during that time. And mamai taku manawa too at the time, and everybody was saying, you know, he shouldn't have said that and this and that. It was a big sort of hoo-ha, but moku ake, I felt
You felt that,
safe.
eh?
I felt good about the fact that he got up, because it proves that he cared enough about the reo, and he knew the importance of the reo. It was about it brought us together. It is the thing that binds us, you know. So I really have, you know, carried that with me and have tried to dive deeper into the meaning of our language, not just the words themselves, you know. So I try to carry, you know, kia honore ki aia for that moment, and I definitely think it was a pivotal moment in my personal journey with the reo, because ever since then I wasn't really taking it seriously. Like, I didn't understand the repercussions or the implications of the way I treated the reo. So that showed me, you know, treat the reo with honour and respect, because the way you treat the reo is the way you treat other people.
Kia ora.
Essentially.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, interesting you say that. We need those leaders who aren't afraid to tell you how it is. And tikanga, I have learned, you can learn it out of a book, but unless you apply tikanga to your reo, you won't understand it in your heart, I think. I think it's very true. Like you said, noho are important because we're all in it together. Food is part of it.
Yes.
And you know, like, to be honest, you go to a marae and an old koro will stand up and talk and everyone's falling asleep, right? And you get a bit whakamā, embarrassed. And then Whaia said to me, just let it soak in. Close your eyes, let it soak. Let it soak on you. Tikanga is very important. But that's a beautiful story.
And just quickly, you touched on something, whakamā. Because growing up, I was whakamā, you know, amongst my elders, those who are higher above you, I was whakamā to speak the reo, and I know a lot of people have that same problem. And you know, I remember the response was always patua te whakamā, because we do get self-conscious. I still get self-conscious with my own reo. Is it good enough? Am I honouring my tipuna? You know that. So I just thought I'd open the discussion to that sort of kaupapa, because I'm sure there'll be many whānau members out there, even you know, now taking on the reo, but not very confident. What would you say to...
It's interesting you say that, the whakamā, like everyone gets it at every level. I'm nowhere near your level. But I see that as butterflies. Like as a performer on stage, you use them to make you more confident. And like, what's that? To whitia te hopo. Just do it.
Get it, Justin!
Yeah, interesting,
Did you have any experiences like that, you know, where you were whakamāmi, you're a mana wāine, so...
Okay, yes, I've got a great story about this. So I was, again, 8 years old at a kurereo, like kurereo, not kurereo kaitahu, kurereo, national, okay? So we had Timothy Karetu, Scotty Morrison, Waihoro Shortland, Rahera Davis, at 8 years old, because I went to Kura Kaupapa, right? And so my auntie at the time, she was studying at Polytech too. So I used to go to her classes as well. She used to do this one month a week, 1 month wānanga. And so I'd go along with her, help her with her mahi. And then the teachers there told my auntie, hey, this wānanga's coming up. I think it would be great for your niece to go along. Not knowing, it's bloody kurereo. And I'm only 8 years old. So I go to this kurereo, and I'm not going to mention her name, but one of the kaiako,
Don't do it.
I already know.
If you go to kurereo, you already know who I'm talking about. It was here in Christchurch, at the Christchurch Polytech. And the mahi in the classes, there's adults in the class, right? I'm the only child in the class, all adults. So the kaiako, she's getting us to read out the story in the book, right? And I'm not dragging some of the kupu that have macrons on them or portai on them or like, I don't know, must not be just reading it for her in the way that she likes. So she calls me out in front of the whole class and tells me, you know, you have to drag your kupu, like whakahuatika, correctly pronounce them, and then started like going off on a rant like, what do they teach you kids down here? Is this the reo down here that you have in Te Waipounamu? And I'm 8 years old, man.
Yeah,
and I'm looking
that's
at
rough.
the adults in the other room like, is anyone gonna say something?
Yeah.
And they were all like carrying down, like kind of like looking down and like, came up to me afterwards, the other adults in the class, and was like, are you okay, ke te pai koe? That wasn't so not okay, la 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 la. But none of them still said anything, and I totally got
That's
roasted
worse.
out by a kurereo kaiako at the age of 8.
Those taniwha exist.
Right.
No, they do. They won't go away. It's how you deal with
Exactly.
it.
See, that's just a
That, for me, kind of traumatized me where I didn't want to answer questions anymore in the fear of being wrong.
But it didn't extinguish your fire.
Absolutely not.
Which is the important thing. And then you know these
Yeah.
taniwha exist now. So
I just never went back to a kurereo after that.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, and
Stayed
that's
away
sad,
from
isn't
that
it?
kaiako.
See, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you're learning any topic, you treat somebody with honour and respect.
Yeah.
You know, regardless if they do well or not.
Encourage, don't discourage.
Yes.
Is what I always say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, ka roha, Kazi. What about the future of, you know, our o mata wawata?
yeah.
What are we hoping for, you know, in our reo journeys for the future?
I was saying this to Kazi this morning. Like, after you do like a wānanga, like a course, it's a lot for your mind, especially the older you get. So you need a break, but you need to make time for it.
Yes.
Make time for it. Like, I need to make time for te whareha kina kina.
Kia ora.
And I'm like, no, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Monday. Hey, te Monday.
What? Yeah. Yeah. So my plan has changed. Like it was, I want to be conversational, have a conversation. But now my plan is to just not give up. Keep
Kia
on.
ora.
Yeah. Keep on adding to my kite.
Yeah.
You know, waiata, reading book, puka puka. Yeah, that's me.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
Kia ora.
What about you, cousin? Back to kurereo.
Oh, nah, man. I go to kurereo kaitahu.
Yeah.
That is way more chill than kurereo. And it's with whānau, you know, that I know everyone there and I'm comfortable there and it's friendly and welcoming and warm and open. Yeah. So shout outs to kurereo kaitahu. Love you guys. My plan for my reo is to absolutely just keep expanding, keep learning, but also I'm now passing it on to my
I was
tamariki.
going to say that.
Yes.
You do.
Yeah,
You
to
do.
my tamariki, Auraki and Ariana. I only speak Māori to my children, as you both know.
Yes, and they have
Speak Māori
beautiful reo.
everywhere,
They
at
do.
home, at work, at school, at the supermarket. Their father, their papa is Italian too, so they speak Italian with their papa too, and then kind of learn English with everybody else. But I want to be what my poa was to my children. I want to be their connection to Te Ao Māori and to Te Reo, raising them in Te Ao Māori, to be confident in their identity as a Māori as well.
When Aoraki was a baby, used to bring him to mahi. What I found beneficial was those cartoons that you used to put on for him in Māori.
Yes.
What was it?
Takoro Tribe,
Yeah.
Pipi Ma.
So good. Resources, great resources.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. And what about you two?
Mōku ake kwaku wawata, kwaku moi ia, heri tiki a koe, I want to, well, tuatahi, I want to have tamarikis.
Yeah.
So, kei te prakatihi tēnei wā. We'll get to the real thing, whakanei, hopefully. Yeah, it is definitely to carry, it might sound cliche, I guess, but it is to carry the wairua of waku tipuna.
Yes.
Katai anō ka mate taku koko ki te tao o taku papa, so he's just passed away, and it was honestly the most, what could I say, the wairua of kotahitanga when at my koko's tangi, was the strongest I've ever felt it. And so that definitely has encouraged me, I roto I taku wairua, to carry our reo, our tikanga, and with it, all those things that are implicit inside that structure. You know what comes kai, whakarongatanga, whakawitiwiti kōrero, like we're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, aroha ki te tangata, maunga rongo ki te whenua, all of those things. And even it's coming out now because I'm just filling in on the radio station at the moment, and I'm loving whakatauki. I'm just in love with it. Like I can't get enough because it's like a manu feeding on the miro, and then as it goes in, it's like expanding, and it opens up sort of more thoughts about, oh, my tipuna might have been thinking this or that, you know. So I definitely want to pass that. I've always wanted this, but to pass that reo on to my tamariki so that they can walk in both worlds, because I think that's important. You know, we live in a technological, modern society that you need understanding of those things, but I definitely also want to ensure that my tamariki have the reo, not just for the reo's sake, but for all of the things that the reo brings, which is manaki ki te tangata. You know, if you
tikanga, like you said, cousin, whakapapa.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like honestly, te reo Māori is just another door into te ao Māori.
Yeah.
And with what I learned is forget English when you're learning Māori.
Yes.
So that you'll find at my level, a lot of us, we can understand exactly what you're saying, but just slow down a little bit, cousin, just slow down a little bit. Oh, okay, yeah.
I also want to run a wānanga with my extended whānau, like just my te karu whānau, because there's about like 40 or something of us.
That's
and that's
fun,
just
cousin.
immediate. Yes.
Yeah.
I was looking that up the other day because some of my whānau are now coming towards the reo.
Yeah.
Like I've got two cousins now who work at Ara,
Yep.
recruiting and working alongside Māori students there, and they're starting to use the reo now more like on their socials, and I'm like, hey, I've never seen them use reo in their lives. Two of my sisters started learning reo at the marae with the aunties and stuff, which is really cool. So I want to, run a wānanga. Well, I can't run it if we go for the Ngāi Tahu funds though. But I want
We'll find a way.
I want to create a reo wānanga for my extended te karu whānau for us to have on the marae for like a long weekend where we do everything reo related.
Perfect.
Yeah, because it's a different world growing up in Te Ao Māori compared to not, hey cousin. It's so beautiful.
It's inclusive.
Yeah.
It's loving.
Us, this is our identity, our right.
Yes, our birthright,
Yes.
cousin, that's right. That's right, it's our birthright, cousin. Normalising te reo Māori as well.
Yeah. And it's the key to our beautiful pūrākau,
Yes.
our history, like Waitaki and Potini, and
Listen,
listen
to
this part. I learned that on Aoraki
so
Bound.
proud.
Aoraki Bound, 21-day spiritual and personal journey into the bush, basically, where our tupuna were going up to Ngāti Raurika, where Raurika walked barefoot, probably, in a glacier.
And what's that wakatauki?
Te kupa i te ao Raurika.
Yes!
Yeah.
Listen to this fella.
I love it. Like, you remind me of her. Like, almost 1,000 years old.
Thank you, cousin.
So she, paraphrasing, she went into, I think, North Canterbury, saw two guys from Ngāi Tahu chopping down a tree and laughing at them because they couldn't do it. And out of her purse, she pulls some pounamu that they'd never seen, whacks the tree down. But she got in trouble because she took them back to where pounamu was. So they kicked her out of the tribe or something like that. But they have
that sounds so like me.
They have a waiata that she wrote that the Waiwai still sing.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like 500 years ago or something.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's stunning. But yeah.
Look at all that mātauranga.
Yeah. So proud, cousin.
So, tērā pia kia whakakapi, any to'u, any advice for those just getting into the reo, just starting out, they don't know where to go, what to do. I have Pākehā friends like that, you know, and the first thing they do is come to me, you know, someone who knows the reo, but what would be your, you know?
The theme that came out is you getting rebuked by your koko, but in love.
It was.
And then you being rebuked by a taniwha.
Yeah, see, you're a taniwha.
And you don't know what her intentions were. You were 8 years old, and that's going to happen.
Yes.
But just realize, especially for Māori, it's your birthright.
Kia ora.
It's who you are, your identity. So that's for me. So just own it. Own it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And you guys?
Yeah, mine would be definitely to pursue your reo. Your reo is your identity. Once you open that door, whānau, you won't even know yourself. You'll be a completely different self, but I feel like our whānau would be more confident, more peaceful from themselves, more connected with themselves, with their whānau.
It's your awakening, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And to connect with your friends or whānau that are already learning it or already in that world.
Immerse yourself.
Yes, they will be your connection, your lifeline to your ao marama, to your identity. So, kara whiua.
Beautiful, Kazi.
Kia ora.
Mōku ake, it'd probably be like he tauiwi koe. So you're a stranger in a strange land, right? And I've been a stranger in a strange land when I first got into television when I was like 16. I showed up with bare feet, shorts and a singlet. And Jason Gunn, first thing he said was like, we're going shopping. You know, so I was
Like that too.
So just like that, as a stranger in a strange land, as long as you dive in and you give your best, and because the thing you're doing is you're actually honouring the people of that land.
Yes.
You know, you're honouring the people who are in that world. You know, I was honouring the people of that world that I had no affinity towards, that I had no understanding of. So by me learning the tikanga of the Pākehā world, you could say, it actually gave them honour, and they took me in and they looked after me. So I would say that if you're starting out in your real Māori journey, that's the way to do it, because Māoritanga is about whakawhanaungatanga. It is about love, aroha manaki, and Māori people just know how to do it, how to give, how to love, and how to sacrifice. That's the other thing. So I would say if you're just starting out, you know, do definitely reach out to those individuals that you think you know, or if you don't know anybody, and even us, ta'ufm.online, you know my piki mai. We have resources, we have so many things in place that can help you, but it is about, I know it's hard because you're a stranger in a strange land and you feel like, you know, you don't have what it takes, but everybody has what it takes. If you have a waha, you have what it takes. So that would be my
own it.
what we talked about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
yes. Love that. We should do this again.
Yes, we should do this again.
Well, do you want to whakakapi te karakia?
Go. No, I huakina.
okay.
No,
I thought of a karakia actually that just came to mind when you were talking about ki te ao marama. So let's do this one. Kia hingi noi tātou. E kore, e pō, e pō. E ao, e ao. Tākiri mai te ata, kori i te manu tino awatea. Ka ao, ka awatea. Ti
Hei Māori ora.
Māori ake nei.